Morty, you gotta come on. You gotta come with me.
What, Rick? What's going on?
I got a surprise for you, Morty.
It's the middle of the night. What are you talking about?
Come on, I got a surprise for you. Come on, hurry up. Gotta get
Ow,
gotta go.
ow,
Gotta get out
ow,
of here.
you're tugging me
Come on,
too
I got a
hard.
surprise for you, Morty.
Justin Roiland here.
Ryan Elder, composer.
Dan Harmon, master.
This is the first Rick and Morty episode ever created in the history of mankind.
This was written in about 6 hours. The
Oh,
first
yeah, that's
draft
right.
of it.
Yeah, that's true.
The first draft was written in about 6 hours
The Paramount lot.
in my unfurnished community office between seasons 3 and the non-existent season 4.
Which, by the way, we broke the story that day.
Yep.
And then we
And
wrote sold it, and then wrote the script that day as well, or that night.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I was about to get up and leave, and Justin, who had been working with me for years, said, if you leave now, we'll finish this in 3 months. If you stay here right now for another 6 hours, we can finish it.
You don't gotta worry about me trying to fool around with Jessica or mess around with Jessica or anything. I'm not that kind of guy, Morty.
What are you talking about, Rick?
You don't have to worry about me getting with Jessica or anything.
Anyways, this cold open, for trivial sake, this is the cold open on the script for Rick and Morty was always some weird version of Rick and Morty in their garage, and Morty accidentally summons a dinosaur. There's a huge thing when we were trying to develop the show. Adult Swim wasn't sure Justin should do both voices. One of the reasons why it was that Morty was an underdeveloped character.
Yeah.
He was too much of a punching bag.
Yep.
We kind of one of our many ways of coping with that and was to write several crazy. I sent Justin like 4
premises,
kind of paragraphs describing just different little shorts he could send to the head of Adult Swim, shorts that all had in common a kind of assertive Morty. So this is one of them that turned out so well that we just made it the cold open.
Yeah,
for
this
our
was the
pod.
one that I recorded the radio play to, and I did 3 takes in my garage, and all the audio you heard is the original audio I recorded in my garage. That's how good my fucking studio
That's
is
how
at home.
good his garage is.
And I cut it together, and I gave it to Brian Newton to board, and we cut an animatic and sent it off. And then a long time after that, we were like, shit, let's just use this before we went to color. But real quick before we get into anything else, I just want to say, if you're watching these in order, the commentary, get ready for a roller coaster of fun, because in some episodes I'm going to be wasted. Will you be able to tell? And some I'm going to be more sober.
The irony is I'm currently at my drunkest, and you'll hear me in later commentaries
Sober, yeah.
high-roading Justin and going, well, Costello.
It's so great. It couldn't be better, because it's a nice little balance of across
Here's an
all.
important thing. We have Ryan Elder in here
Yeah.
doing commentary.
Yeah, Elder, this was the first episode. This was sort of us finding the foundational sound.
Yeah.
Show.
This one was like total. I feel like it was more like a labor of love. We just did it for so long. We worked on it for so long compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
And like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we did that isn't in it anymore. Like, I remember pooping basketballs. Do you remember?
Oh yeah. That was the cold open.
yeah.
That was the original cold open. Yeah.
And we were in the studio getting dinosaur claws clacking on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, that's right, because you did all the sound. You did the whole
just the
sound
very
mix,
first
the sound
pass.
design.
It
Yeah.
got redone. And masterfully redone at that. Mine was just. I'm not a sound designer, but it was fun getting those dinosaur claws with. What do we have? Clothespins on.
Clothespins on fingers across cement.
Yeah.
Get away from the windows. Now look, we're gonna be dealing with some real serious stuff today. You might have heard of it. It's called math. And without it, none of us would even exist. So
Brandon Johnson here,
2 + 2.
Jessica.
our most underutilized, amazing
he's so
character.
good, man. He's so good.
It's time for the quiz.
When you hear us not talking about how awesome someone is, that's because that person is awesome. We're
Yeah, look, we can only cover so much.
We begged the very shy Elder to join us for this episode. I mean, that's the thing about all of us. Is like, the guys in here are drunk writers saying, this joke is funny, this joke's not. But holy shit, I take a lot of stuff for granted.
Yeah, like listen to this score. Like it's just it's this nice ambient.
This music. This is like the 4th version of this cue, though.
Yeah.
It was sexy once, and it had a couple of. It was like rock and roll once.
Yeah, we pulled it back to like a weird, trippy, ambient.
I like it though.
Echoey.
I think we finally nailed it.
I always meant for this to get refined. I just
me
wanted
too,
a
me
scene
too,
when
yeah.
I was explaining to Justin. Justin was never a big fan of the scene either, and I just wanted a Savage Steve Holland, John Hughes kind of.
We had like a pencil line. We wanted
just
to
an
do...
idea that Morty had a learning disability. Just the idea that, like you, if you're watching, that it was hard for him to participate in class, so that you would start to identify with this character right before his grandpa comes in and freezes this guy to death. That was the important thing to me, was that you felt going into this scene like you were that kid for sure, pinned up against a locker.
And also, those big titties. I mean, come on, let's not neglect those big old titties that you got to squeeze. Oh shit.
Because this was a cave painting, like this was the idea, hopefully this doesn't legally compromise us to say the dynamic between these characters is based on something fundamentally like the Doc Brown Marty McFly relationship, but it's a mad scientist screaming at an affable kid. We got to do this. We got to do that.
Yeah.
We got to do this. We got to do that. And then the kid saying, "But we can't do that." And then the guy saying, "I don't need to hear about that. We got to do this."
Yeah.
And it's. I'm convinced now at this point, having done a lot of interviews trying to explain why people like Rick and Morty, why they are willing to listen to Justin Burp and all this stuff. I think that he's stumbled into an accurate illustration of bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what's happening. That's manic and depressive.
I am bipolar, I think, for fuck's sake.
I think that the Rick part of you says, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do this, we got to do that, and the depressive part of you says, geez, I'm not sure if I should ever do anything.
I never leave my house. I don't know what that says about me.
Stabilized.
Okay, I only asked Jerry because, as you know,
do we ever see Beth actually at work? I mean, I know we see her at work, but we don't see her working.
This is the only time in season
right?
1 where we actually visit the horse hospital in a way that we're seeing her working. We see it in Love Pandemic. We see her office. Or actually, I guess we see Davin's office. But that's the only times that we brush against this location. We know it's there, though. We don't, the audience can fill in the blanks with their fan fiction.
All right, come on, Morty, let's go.
Okay. Oh man, Rick.
This is I want to get back really quick to the Frank character who got frozen and then shattered on the ground. That was Ryan Ridley, and he's been bugging me for a while, since we switched to the new reality.
No, fuck that. That's so dumb.
Is Frank alive now?
Yeah,
because,
now that there's a new reality, maybe my character could come back?
Maybe little Frankie McFrankerson.
You fucking idiot.
Well,
the only reason we would ever risk casting you is because we knew for sure the character was incapable.
That's not true, though.
Physically incapable
I love the
of
design.
manifesting itself again.
I love the design of that
Bird person, on the other hand. Hashtag bird person.
Hashtag bird person. Hashtag Barack Obama. At Barack Obama.
We gotta get out of here, Morty. It's gonna kill us.
This is like a vestige of like an older version of Rick. Like, it's very seldom that we see Rick run in terror from anything anymore.
Well, it's also, but I do like that that's a side of Rick. I mean, I do think he is a coward. But it's also, isn't this act structure wise? I'm assuming
we wrote this in 3. Yeah, we wrote.
What we just saw was one of 3 acts, right?
I think what we did is we kept the act break for going from 1 to 2, and then we just said, and then we just combined 2 and 3, and Adult Swim was cool with it.
Yeah.
Because we wrote this as 3 acts, and then we were like, fuck, are we gonna have to squeeze some kind of act break blow in the middle of the second act? And luckily we didn't have to do that.
For those 5 of you listening that overlap between Rick and Morty and Community and Dan Harmon and Channel 101 and Justin Roiland and blah blah blah, you might be familiar with this concept of the story circle. It was
a helpful thing.
It was really weird to this show is 2 acts, which in shorthand, to say something that will mean nothing to most people listening, that means that the act break comes after the meeting with the goddess instead of the atonement with the father.
The bottom of the circle.
Which is, it continues to confuse and dizzy me.
My father in a home.
We got it.
You have to figure out how to
We got
turn
it.
getting to the bottom of something
we
as
got
a
it.
negative experience.
By the way, this episode had a whole different crew because this was sort of done in a vacuum. This pilot, we had Brian Newton was sort of the main board guy. We had Jenny Goldberg doing characters, Mike Chillian doing characters and backgrounds, Callie Fontecchio on color. Bunch of people who we couldn't get for the aside from Brian Newton, we couldn't get for the series.
Morty was having trouble in school way before my dad moved in, and the only
Hey, Elder, so this pilot's probably pretty dry, right, musically?
Well, there's a lot in the third act, the quote unquote third act, like.
But it is, yeah. I mean, I think it's 9 or 11 total minutes of music, which is, pretty below average for a Rick and Morty episode. But
Man, there ain't enough music in this motherfucker. Yo, hit it.
That cue right there was a late addition.
This is what should have been here.
Yeah, that would have really helped the scene.
This is the sound score. Oh, get ready, cause this is the score for the scene. This isn't gonna distract from you at all. Turn it up, motherfucker. Hey, I like pizza and I like carrots too. You want to learn about the show? Get ready. Be careful. It goes through a portal. You gotta Jimmy Nordle. All right, no, but seriously, in this scene, we painted the color of the ground. I did actually have to send back that background. If you look at I had a whole curtain effect on that mountain.
The backgrounds
hitting the
are
ground.
amazing, and
No, they're great. But if you look at the way the mountain hits the grass, I had to change that like 3 times because it felt like a curtain dangling over I don't know.
Don't worry about it, Morty. Just come up and get
Oh God, I love the tree. Like we were worried for a minute about these trees.
Oh, that
like
was back
S&P.
when we thought there would be a problem with
It's like a
tree
nut
balls.
sack and like a big shaft of like, and it's all like kind
And
of got
now
a
we
veiny,
just write
whatever. we
what a
want.
6-year-old would write during a sleepover.
Yeah.
And let them define the boundaries because we don't even know what they are.
Yeah.
I was the only old person there, Morty.
I don't know if you noticed that, ladies and gentlemen, but when he pulled the mega seed apart, there were 2 seeds, one on each side.
Still there.
Makes no sense. It was not intentional. It was a mistake. How would those fit in there? I don't know.
It's got no charge left, Morty.
Well, what do you mean? It's a bilaterally symmetrical vegetative organism.
Yeah.
That drool bit.
Oh, the drool bit. I remember like we tightened it up and we tweaked it, and then I remember like at one point at one of the mini screenings, you were like, I should have just let you do whatever the fuck it was.
Obviously, I should have let you do whatever you wanted because I mean, if you're out there and you're one of those people that goes, I didn't like the burping at first, but I'm fine with it now, which is what Donald Glover just told me in a text message.
Yeah.
I don't like the repeating of each other's names. I didn't like blah blah blah. You're like me. You had the same fucking reaction.
Yeah, and Lazo
which is
too,
that
yeah.
everything Justin Roiland does is really specific and really weird and really full of energy and really captivating, really infectious, hypnotizing. It dares you to fucking like be freaked out by it and draws you in like a riptide. And when I'm collaborating with him, I try not to be a fucking square, and I try to help him.
Jesus Christ.
Like lift him up so that craziness can be hoisted into my mother's face without making her run away. But there's always going to be like instances of me going too far. I hated the fucking burping. I hated it. I was all over you about it.
Yeah, but you know what though? To be fair, and we pulled back on like you were right. Like on the pilot, there is so much more burping than there. Like now we've struck a nice balance. Like okay, there's a handful of them. And listen, the really funny thing is I don't even know how much I love the burping. You know, like at this point,
I'm a slave to the burping.
I mean. Like back in 2006 when I made the very first thing, it was the hilarious. It was so funny to me. But now I'm kind of like, is it like what? I don't know. Like,
I'm in an ivory tower of burping.
I can't get out of this prison of burping.
That Glarp Zone joke was pitched in the sound design sessions, I believe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I remember that. I remember being really excited about that.
No, wait. Didn't we do that in the animatic? And Nicole...
When I was in the studio doing sound design for the animatic, I think it was...
Okay.
Oh,
She was a board artist.
Yeah,
God
yeah.
damn it, I know her name.
We had her do the vocal, and then it got replaced
and she did
twice.
such a good job. Yeah, and we replaced it twice. Yeah.
It's a new
This is
machine.
much as there's one scene in the first Indiana Jones movie where you really go, that's Indiana Jones. To me, that's this scene.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah,
It's Rick and Morty going through interdimensional customs, and Rick, going, "Run, Morty!"
And these insect soldiers are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And they represent something bigger, I think, in the universe that maybe we'll end up exploring.
Brian Newton and Justin and I sat and came up with this green guy going through his life cycle while on the run.
Yeah, it was like a great collaborative discovery.
And that's a very Douglas Adams thing. Thank you for letting me rip off
Thank you,
existential
Douglas.
British sci-fi comedy forever.
I'm Douglas Adams. I'm here I just want to chime in and say you're welcome.
Thank you, Douglas
Chip,
Adams.
chip, chiree. I'm on my way. Wow, Douglas Adams stopping by.
I remember being really intimidated as a composer by this scene because I knew it was just going to be wall-to-wall craziness.
Yeah, this song is. This cue is great, man.
And then I did one, and for the animatic, and was pretty happy with it. But then it came back and it was like twice as long.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, that's because I had Brian I was like, just thumbnail out a ton of chase sequence moments, and he did like a trooper. Like he just spit out a ton of ideas, and then we just picked our favorite ones and cleaned them up. And then the scene like tripled in size. This whole section of the show. I like a lot of times like our scripts will be like crazy action, like they'll be like dialogue, crazy action set piece chase sequence, and then you just give it to a director and board team that just let them go to town, and then you pick your favorite shit.
Yeah, when they're running, that was what it was. It was like make them come up with something.
Yeah, and that's a great way to collaborate with board people because they're
I gotta imagine they love that.
They're overflowing with that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, half of production is board driven. It's them calling the shots,
Yeah.
and the other half in animation is writers writing these outlines. In both cases, they need to get over themselves,
and they need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, they should talk all the time.
They should talk. They should really get together. And
They should talk. They should really get together.
Of Justin Roiland.
I love the Ito. The other thing, this episode has a lot of blurs on the background, which I think we pulled back on in series. This is interesting. This is the very first thing that was ever animated for Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah.
So it like looking at it now after a whole season.
This is better. We lost our way.
The characters are a little looser, a little more like they're not like look at Rick they're a little.
Yeah, this looks good.
They're not as tight on model,
No, it's.
But I kind of like that looseness. We blew it. I'm
remember-
gonna someone hand me a shotgun.
I remember when
Putting
you
it in my
first
mouth.
showed me this scene. I think you emailed it to me, and it just was like, "Whoa, yes,
This shit is
this is the real deal now." Yeah.
Yeah, they really
It was
like.
really great.
This is all Bardell in house, and they with Florian and Nathan, they fucking killed it.
Look,
I keep saying they killed it. Get ready for that, ladies and gentlemen, as you slodge through the rest of these commentaries. In fact, take a big swig of whiskey every time I say they killed it.
Get ready to be infected by a new way to say they did good.
Get it, print it on a T-shirt. They killed it.
What the hell?
holy crap, he's right.
Morty,
I love how quickly Jerry looked that up on his phone.
The increment in
Oh,
the
crap.
internal energy of a system is equal to the
Because that would take me about an hour to find on the internet.
I hope we could find the document that we actually wrote in the first 6 hours. I want to really look at that.
Yeah, I have it somewhere.
I want to
yeah.
know how much time I waste thinking that my job is more important than it is. Because
Dude,
we
you know what's
fucking
crazy?
garbaged this out, wiped our butts with it, and threw it out the window.
All the stuff that you wrote, because like you took the second act, you took like the second and third act, I took the first act. Your second and third act barely fucking changed. Mine changed a lot, because like, look at me,
I'm
I'm
so mad at myself. What the fuck? When's somebody gonna figure out how to use me?
Hey, I think I'm doing a pretty good job over here.
Well, I don't.
When somebody,
I'm too mired in my self-pity to even know how I'm
there
offending
goes
you.
Summer again, guys. Hello.
She's
I'm just
a
kidding.
hard 8.
Get ready. I mean, she's very simply designed, but she's very womanly.
She's got more to offer.
Family. And now, Beth, if you'll have me, I would love to.
Hey, look, check it out. They're gonna go bone. That doesn't. We don't get a lot of that across the rest of the season.
All right, we crossed the threshold. I don't even know if I can say it. I'm now as drunk as Justin was last time.
I love it.
Oh man. Yeah. And once those seeds.
See, this is a great example of like just me going off, just rambling, and then we end up just using it outtake as intake. This whole thing. Because this wasn't in the script, was it? Like we did write like.
Well, it was like I was trying to recreate your ball licking thing. To me, and the scud is real.
It was like templated in. I was trying
to connect a dot. Go like, well, I'm adapting this property. The big point of the property is just a couple points where Morty is incapacitated and going, oh no, at the same time as Rick is saying,
years.
It's good. The same
Morty.
thing over and over again, over and over again, Morty, over and over. So I like adapting the Hulk from a comic book into a TV series. I'm like, you can see me trying to like, this is what the kids like.
It's great though because this was slugged in and then I just went with it and
100 years, yeah. When it came back, it was like
shit,
100 years and .com. I was like, yes, exactly. That's fucking.
He plussed it. The kid plussed it.
The kid plussed it. That son of a bitch plussed it again.
Who would have thought?
And now that 100 years thing is not going anywhere.
Now when I see it, I want to fucking kill
That's your
myself.
new 6 seasons in a movie, baby. Try living that down.
No, it's fine.
Welcome
but
to hell.
I do see it and I go, oh boy. Come on, guys. Come on.
Can't wait for you to get your first email from
Ruthie.
a fucking kid that's gonna blow his brains out if he doesn't get 100 years of Rick and Morty.
Oh, jeez. Look, I'm gonna.
Dear Mr. Roiland, my name's Kevin McClintock.
It's cocked and loaded.
I've never contributed to your ratings or back end, but I'm gonna commit suicide if you do wrong.
People threaten suicide way too often.
Yours truly,